Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today, here we are in the Excel training session where we will be learning about the filter formula. So filter formula, you might be thinking that what can be the use case of it. Basically, filter formula is used when we need to segregate the data on the basis of a certain parameter, and it is a constant need that we need to do it again and again and again. So filter formula helps us to automate that particular thing. In this particular video, first we will be learning how to apply a filter formula, and then we will be seeing the use case of it. Okay, so here on the screen you can see there is a sample data set. Here is the name, class, subject and grade. So first we will see what are all the parameters of the filter formula and what's the use case. For example, let's start equals filter, and you can see first thing it is saying that include the array that we need to filter out. For example, in this particular case, I want this whole table to need to be filtered out. Second parameter is include. Basically, include means on the basis of what we need to filter it out. For example, I just want to filter it out on the basis of a name. So I'll be selecting the name column from it. And then if empty, let me write a text, no data. When we are applying this particular array include is basically a criteria on the basis of which we need to apply the filter. So for example, if I am saying a1 to a5, it's not just that I have to apply a1 to a5, I need to give a reference. For example, in this case, let me just give a reference as c7. Okay, now you might be thinking, what does it mean? A1 to a5 equals c7, what does it mean? Let's just press enter. As of now, it is saying no data. Let me just write a name here in the cell which I have provided reference for. Like in this case, I have provided the reference for C7. Let's just write Rishi here. If I write Rishi, you can see that whole row that belongs to Rishi is filtered out here. If let me write Vani, then it will give me a data for Vani. If I'll write Yash, it will give the data for Yash. So it is very simple. So you might be thinking, what can be the use case? The first use case can be, for example, you have a master data that contains hundreds of rows, and every time you have to filter out something when you need to extract the data from that particular table. Let me just unhide a sheet that I have prepared the reference for. Okay, so here you can see this is a particular table. Okay, and here let's just say you always need to segregate the data basis on the region column from this particular data in this particular format. So you can consider this particular data as the master data and this particular format as the format in which you need to segregate the data every time you get this data. So let's see what formula can we apply. Here it is the formula that I have applied for the east region. Let me show you for the west. For example, equals filter. Then I need to select the array. So in this particular format, just saying as per the problem statement, I just need the order ID in the west region and the total sales in the west region, not the whole table that I want to select. So what I will be doing is I'll just be selecting the order ID and the total sales. Okay, and then include. Now on what basis I need to segregate the data? I need to segregate the data on the basis of region, where region is equals to, I can say this, and if empty, I can say no data. This was the format. Let's just press enter, and then you can see the order ID and the total sales belonging to the west region has been filtered out. But in this particular case, if you will see the referencing, I have provided constant referencing, you can say. This is not dynamic. For example, if I have in this particular case, I have selected the array from h1 to I12, but what if I am adding a new row into the h13 or maybe I13? So this particular formula format is not dynamic. What I can do is, instead of selecting H1 to I12, I'll be selecting H to I. And then for the same case, I will not be just selecting C1 to C12, I will be selecting the whole C column, removing the constants, and this is done. Now if I'll press enter, these are just the two rows. What if I'll be entering the data for west, one more row? I'll press enter. I'll press the order ID 1015, let's say, and the total sales is 400. So my this format is getting updated automatically. Now let's just do the same for the note reason. The formula is here. Instead of N2, my referencing will go to P2. Enter. And same goes for south, and instead of N2, again I'll be referencing R2. So here it is. Like how we discussed the first how to apply a filter formula, and then second we discussed what's the use case of the filter formula, like for the segregation. There are many things you can do with this. For example, what if I just format this particular data, let's say this blue, yellow, green, brown, doing it bold, doing the borders. Maybe I can just directly copy it and paste it into a PPT. So my format is completely ready. Although this is a very basic format, but obviously you can prepare a more advanced format basic basis the understanding that we have got today, and like you can use the filter formula like this. So thank you for your time. Thank you so much. And in the next video, we will be back with more such formulas. I hope you are enjoying the content. Thank you.